I know sometimes creatives have like creative block.
Yeah.
So how do you keep thinking of new and engaging content ideas?
Yeah. So the number one thing is you always want to be a student, always be a student, forever be a student. And so I'm always a student of other people's content. And so anytime you're trying to get inspired by something or trying to figure out new ideas, the content's literally already out there. And so it's like I have a Google search every morning. I'm looking at what's some or articles that's coming out in the past 24 hours that's kind of be talking about. So always be a student, but don't necessarily copy. You want to get inspired by different artists or journalists, and just continue to always learn to become a student. And that's how you become your own blended version of yourself. Mm-hmm. These people that you're probably already looking up to are probably already posting on a daily content. Continue to watch their content, continue to be a student of them. Take that, become that own blended version of yourself. You'll always be inspired if you're always following those people, always being a student. And you could one day pass the amount of following that they have. Mm-hmm. But just always be a student. Don't ever forget that.
Do you have like a technical process? I know you mentioned the every morning waking up, you know, looking at articles and content, but do you record in batches? Do you batch record all your content? Anything like that?
Oh, this is interesting. When I used to do, oh my gosh, it was so fun. And so I have I have a folder, and it will Google like in the past 24 hours, like anything, especially during the child tax credit, student loan forgiveness. I believe another way to create content is also be a source of news information, like what's new or what's relevant. So I'm always what's happened in the past 24 hours. Mm. And then what I used to do, well, this is how I really, really got started, is I would take something and I would put it on Twitter. Okay, how does it do on Twitter? Then whatever was on Twitter, I would then put it on Instagram. Like it's like a carousel. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing about that is people will ask additional questions in the comments. Like, okay, oh my gosh, that's good. And sometimes I see something really funny in the comments. I'm like, I'm going to turn that into a video script. So I'm like, I kind of stole that from the comment section. But like, that's how I really used to do it to see if it's going to perform well. Does it perform well on Instagram? If so, let's turn it into a video, and it's already critiqued as well. Plus, you can also look at other videos that are being posted. Read those comments. There's questions in there as well. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And you touched on this earlier, but I'm sure you've heard the news about TikTok potentially being banned. Mm-hmm. So what's your backup plan?
I ain't scared. I ain't scared. But it's good. It's good to have a backup plan. I've definitely used a lot of Instagram. And I'm so glad you asked that question, because you know, I'm a creator and like I help other creators. And so we always teach our creators to start owning your own data, because with this thing, so we're teaching them how to own their own data by building their own email list and so forth. That way, if this thing does go down, make sure you have it. Hey guys, here's where you can find me at now. Because if your social media goes down, then you truly build that community. I mean, I could have like 3 million followers on like TikTok, but who are really engaging with you, who's really a part of your community. So I'm not tripping, even though I say that. I still have a backup plan that where I own my own data, where like no matter what, even if it's in Excel, it's in HubSpot, but HubSpot got it. They might need to do a backup, but like it's like you want to have that whole email list of their names, their phone numbers, and so forth. Another great thing is moving to Instagram as well. So I've like also been pushing people on Instagram. But everything we're teaching our creators during those quarterly meetings is start figuring out a way to own your data.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're almost done here. I want to know, what is the number one piece of advice you would give to a creator about taxes?
The number one piece of advice for creators with taxes, I would say, don't be afraid. Track your expenses. Track your bookkeeping. The moment that you can afford to get an LLC, get an LLC. There's so many things that we can do more with an LLC, such as like an S corp and things like that. So I would say watch the fairness of when it comes to it. Get into an LLC. And another reason why I recommend an LLC, not only can it help you save on taxes potentially with something called an S corp, it's the way we present ourselves to these brands. So typically, when a brand works with you, so we call this a loan out corporation. What if a brand wants to work with you? They work directly. Okay, look, they work directly with Duke. I give my name, I give my social security number, and all that great stuff. With an LLC or some type of entity, what happens instead is that the brand hires your LLC. So the information that you're given to the brand is only information about your LLC and then your EIN. They don't even touch your personal information. And then what happens is that LLC then hires you as the talent. So it's all about structure a little bit, protection, and so forth. So 100% the moment that you get an LLC, let's do that. 2, if you can just take care of your bookkeeping, that's it. Mm-hmm. And just find someone, but don't be afraid. So yeah.
Be afraid.
Yeah, and then the number one tip, just come see Duke Tax if you really need help. Like, let's start with that. Just come mess with your boy.
Go see him, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you.
Duke, what's next for you?
Oh my gosh. I gotta get on an airplane. No, I'm kidding. So what's next is I'm jumping into more of the education space. I'm actually probably gonna be speaking at my first big event, which is soon. So not only am I building this business, I'm building this business for it to continue to cash flow, but my true passion and heart is educating others. My process, inspiring others. So we're coming out with an education course for other CPAs and EAs, teaching them marketing, how to do their business, how to do business taxes, and so forth. So jumping into more of that educational space.
Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.